Yo, I wanted to share this shit because I thought it was raw. I thought it was ill. You know what I'm saying? And you know, kind of like made me pat myself on the back as far as like observation. I was listening to Jordan B. Peterson and I made a couple of connections, man, and I wanted to share them with y'all. But before I do that, I'm gonna say like intelligence is it's tricky. It's a tricky thing because it's kind of like certain people can see it. I guess maybe if you on a certain level of frequency, but it's kind of hard to gauge because a person can be intelligent as a motherfucker, but not too articulate. And that's why I always thought, and it's a whole nother conversation, but that's why I always thought like being articulate is so dope because it kind of lets a motherfucker know like, bitch, I ain't stupid. You know what I'm saying? But I was listening to Jordan B. Peterson, and you know he was speaking on like overcoming certain shit and getting out of the rut that you're in. And he said something that stuck out. What he said is the definition of humility is to start progressing exactly where you're at, right? You know what I mean? And then it made me think of two things. It made me think of Dolph and Mike Tyson, because these certain things and principles like that I lock in with myself. Tyson said the same thing in a different way. He said you have to be willing to be a fool. You know what I mean? And part of that is like security within yourself. It's not necessarily being a fool to me. To me, it's like, I don't give a fuck what you think. You could think I'm stupid. Because a lot of the times when you ask certain questions, people go out their way to try to make it seem like, oh, you don't know that? Which, that's weak shit. You know what I'm saying? You could think that I'll never see you again in my life after this. You know what I'm saying? After this season, after this chapter, whatever. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? So that's one way I deal with it. But he said you have to be willing to be a fool. And not only as far as like the way people perceive it, but with yourself. Because if you done climb certain levels in certain areas, it can kind of be humbling or you know, almost beneath you in a sense to start over, be a baby in something else. You know what I'm saying? Prime example, street nigga, transition into anything else. You know what I mean? Nigga, you gotta start over, bro. You the man where you from. You know what I'm saying? You used to getting praise. You used to people being like, oh, he the top of this. Or, you know, he up in ranks in this area. But, you know, that shit don't transition. That shit transitions like, and that's just life, no matter what it is. If you was to be the illest street nigga in the world, and then you want to transition into being an author, or even simple shit, a technician, a diesel engineer, nigga, you gotta become a baby all over again. You know what I'm saying? You gotta start over. And a lot of people, that holds a lot of people back, cause they can't take it. But you know who I am? You talking to me like that, like, or you looking at me and treat me like I'm a dummy or some shit. But you know, that's you know, that shit crazy to me. And it also made me think about Dolph. He said it in the ill way. He said, man, one of my favorite Dolph clips. He said, man, this shit is about some work. He said everybody want to ball overnight. Everybody want to ball overnight, nigga. But you got to start at the bottom, bro. You can't skip. You can't cut corners. It just don't work. You know what I'm saying? And then and you know that was dope. I don't know if y'all following me, but you know what I'm saying? That connection there. How people can say the same thing in different ways, and you know, depending on your viewpoint, you know, it'll connect or it might not connect. That's why it's so important to have many different teachers and shit like that. Or just, you know what I'm saying, be a seeker. Because sometimes, you know, it takes a certain person to say something for it to connect to you. You know what I'm saying? Or connect with you. But another thing that he said that, you know, I've been listening to my nigga Oskino. You know what I'm saying? That bitch crazy, but that bitch smart. He got his own way of thinking, and you could tell he well read, and you know what I'm saying? He remind me of me. You could tell he pick up knowledge. Like the nigga older than me, so shit. We had some of the same traits that I picked up on. You know what I mean? That's why I've been fucking with him. You know what I mean? But he said some shit that, to the average ear, it just sounded like some street shit. Some ignorant dope, like, you know what I'm saying? Some ignorant, like, dope boy, you know what I'm saying? Typical street nigga shit, but it's very intelligent because Jordan, it's just, I ain't gonna say it was very intelligent. It was just right. It was just true. It was intelligent too, depending on how you gauge it or whatever, but it was just true. Like, I deem it true. He was speaking on how, like, nigga, you not righteous. He said he's speaking on, like, he was speaking and he was saying, like, nigga, I'm in search of light. Like, I'm looking for light, bro. I'm looking for light, and I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to do the right thing. You know what I mean? And he was speaking on somebody else. He was like, nigga, you not righteous. Like, you not righteous just because you're doing the right thing. You really, nigga, you doing the right thing because you scared. You kind of gotta do the right thing, nigga. You would think about consequences and certain shit that I'm not gonna think about. So it's kind of different. Like, example, a lot of niggas are taught like, nigga, I never been to jail. I never caught no charges because you're scared. You get what I'm saying? Which, that's not a bad thing. But it's a lot of us that, we know that's easy. Like, we don't even think about that shit for real. Like, when we in them spaces, like, nigga, jail, that shit, that's just, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of put a nigga in a space where it's a little bit harder to do right because all you know is wrong, and you know how easy it is to do wrong, and you know the consequences of doing wrong ain't that bad. Yeah, of course, prison can be, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you're going to deal, but once you there, bro, you got to just deal with it. It ain't, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of motherfuckers are scared to death of certain consequences, like, so it kind of make it a little bit easier for them to walk the straight and narrow. But when you raise in certain environments and you at a young age, you experience being in prison, it make it so much easier to, that's why the guards always tell you, you'll be back. It's easy. You see how sweet this shit is. This shit easy, nigga. Free meal, three meals a day, hots in the cot, you know what I'm saying? So it's different, but Jordan B. Peterson, he said the same exact thing, but he just worded it so beautifully. He said just because you're doing the right thing, it doesn't mean, it doesn't make it formidable. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make it formidable. It's like, you don't have the capability of doing wrong. The way he said it, it was crazy. And I was like, damn, it's the same shit. It's the same shit. That shit true. Like, I don't know, bro. But it clicked with me and it stuck out. And I thought, I should share the connection between just, two different minds that's so far apart but saying the same exact thing, And I should have looked at the video and got exactly how he worded it before, but if you listen to Jordan B. Peterson, he one of the ones. That's what he was saying. He was like, it doesn't mean, just because you're doing the right thing, don't convince yourself that you're just so righteous, because 9 times out of 10 you're scared to do wrong. You know what I mean? And he was speaking on how a lot of the times the people who are that way are some of the worst people. Morally, like, it's in their spirit, you know what I'm saying? And for me, that's one of the reasons why, one of the questions I like to ask people just to see where their head at is like, what's worse, a coward or a liar? And for me, it's a coward. It's nothing I hate more. I ain't gonna say hate. Man, I am gonna say hate. It's nothing I hate more than a coward, bro. It's nothing I hate a coward. You know what I'm saying? Because you liable to do anything if you get scared. You know what I mean? But I noticed something too about cowards. They play a lot of covert mind games and shit like that. And me, I can notice it fast so it don't bother me. You know what I'm saying? But they do a lot of little underhanded, subliminal, little weak ass shit that you know, you can't even point out really because you'll look crazy and shit like that. Me and my sister had a conversation about this. You know, she in the military. And she dealing with a lot of that shit. And I be letting her know, like, you ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? That's how people play. You know what I'm saying? Especially in certain environments, like the work world, or when you climb the corporate ladder, it's so covert and just subliminal and narcissistic and shit like that. You know what I mean? But you know, I ain't gonna stress this shit out. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to share that with y'all. I'ma holler, man.